Yeah. So once I have this sequence, this probability is associated only with this sequence. If I change the sequence, then I will get the probability. As long as I am keeping x is equal to 3 and n is equal to 5, the probabilities of all possible sequences for x is equal to 3, n is equal to 5 are going to be the same. Okay, and that is why I needed this assumption of independence. Okay, so if I take a sequence 1 1 1 0 0, the probability of that sequence is also p raised to 3, 1 minus p raised to 2, right? So now I can actually work out how many sequences exist, and for all those sequences the probability remains the same. So basically probability of this is p raised to x 1 minus p raised to n minus x, right? So this is an important expression. This expression will help us a lot in doing probability for whatever the next distribution is, that is binomial. This is a very essential statement that we would need to do binomial. Let's take a simple example that in a basketball game there is this 3-point line. Okay, in a basketball game there is this 3-point line, right? How many of you play basketball? Okay, you know what a 3-point line is. Is it easy to basket from a 3-point line? No, it's very difficult to basket from a 3-point line, right? So you've been given say 5 baskets. You've been awarded 5 throws, right, from a 3-point line, and in a match you keep on getting these opportunities to make throws. So suppose she plays basketball, she gets an opportunity to make 5 throws to the basket from a 3-point line. Usually for these throws everybody stay away. The person who is throwing stands and makes a throw, and once the throw is made, then the players can come in. So your throw is clean. There's nothing that is obstructing your throw, and so all 5 throws are identical. Okay. Now, what is you tell us, what is the chance that somebody would be successful? 5 times in 100, 10 times in 100, 20 times in 100 throws?
It depends on how.
On an average, how many times you would be throwing it correct?
Me?
30% of the times?
I am, like I used to play, I was the 3-point shooter. So, it was around 3 out of 5. Not
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Okay, that's a reasonably good success. Let's assume this success to be slightly lower. Let's take it to something like 0.2, because all of us don't play basketball at all. So if we throw, perhaps most of our throws would not even hit the box that is there, forget the basket. The board also we won't be able to hit. Now suppose we assume that the probability of somebody throwing it correctly is 0.2. So 1 minus p of failure is 0.8, right? Yeah. So if you were given the points and you were given to throw, and I have to bet on. Okay, I know betting is illegal in our country, so this is just an example, and I don't encourage betting by this. Okay, or I'm not encouraging any kind of financial betting. We bet otherwise. Okay, for a cup of coffee. So I am interested in a sequence 0 1 0 1 0. Okay, she got 5 throws, so I'm interested in such a sequence 0 1 0 1 0. Okay, so I say that he'll fail on first, succeed on second, and then fail, and then succeed, and then fail. Okay, basically I'm looking at, can you give me, now you know enough, Can you give me the probability of this sequence? Can you give me the probability of this sequence? Yeah? Do it quickly. So probability of the sequence is P raised to, so what is P? P is 0.2 raised to 2 into 0.8 raised to 5 minus 2. Okay, so whatever this value is, then would be the probability. If you have calculators, then do the calculation and tell me what this value is. 0.2 raised to 2 and 0.8 raised to 3. Okay, would be the chance that she would be doing throws successfully in this manner. That is, failure in first, success on second, failure on third, success on fourth, failure on fifth. Okay, and so this probability perhaps would be very low, because anyway probability of success is very low and probability of failure is high, and we are just looking for 2 successes. So yeah, the probability is going to be low. The 0.20. No. Incorrect. It can't be such a high number, because there will be several such sequences.
0.020.
0.004. This would perhaps the probability of doing this. Right. So in R, the useful syntax for this is dburn. A library RLab is useful. For the library RLab in R, you have library RLab and do d1 x, and you have to define x. You also supposed to give the probability. So probability of success say is 0.2. Okay, and define x. X would be a sequence. So perhaps here I would write x is equal to C1 0 1 0 1. Right. So this is what I would write in R. X I would define, then I would write this. I'm not following the correct order. So since you don't know, I would follow the correct order. Dburn x 0.2. Okay, and if I write this code in R, it should give me the probability of this particular sequence. RLab is a library which I have to call because the function dburn is there in this library. If you don't want RLab to be called, then you can write your own function. This function is not so difficult. So you can write your own function. Since we have not done much about R, I am not going into the details of how to do it. But it's not so difficult. As you learn how to write functions in R, you would perhaps write your own functions and calling a library. The last thing about binomial Bernoulli distribution is the mean and mean and variance of Bernoulli distribution. So to express them simply, the mean of the Bernoulli distribution, the distribution function is, what is the distribution function? Probability of x is equal to, this is the distribution function, probability of x is equal to p raised to x into 1 minus p raised to 1 minus x. The expectation x, if x follows Bernoulli, expectation x, if x follows Bernoulli, is P. Expectation x, if x follows Bernoulli, is P. And variance of x is variance of x, if x follows Bernoulli, variance of x, if x follows Bernoulli, is P into 1 minus P, that is P into Q, right? This is the expectation and this is the variance of Bernoulli distribution. Now, you could have actually written expectation x P is equal to summation x px. To get this value, I can write, to get this value, I can write actually, erase this for a while. Though I am not solving it, I just want this insight to be there with you, and that is expectation x is equal to summation x px. So how do I get expectation x for binomial Bernoulli? I get it summation x. What is the px? P raised to x into 1 minus p raised to 1 minus x. Right? This is what I would perhaps write. And if I solve this, what I get is p. Right? So those of you who are interested in understanding and perhaps giving some work to their brains can actually try and solve this and reach to this point P. Right? Similarly, you can work through the variance. Variance is expectation x minus mu, the whole square. Right? So once you know P, you can know you can compute the variance. This is how you would perhaps work through mean and the variance of the binomial distribution. I'm not going to work through it because it's perhaps slightly easier to work through with Poisson, and I'll show it with Poisson. Okay? Right. So we take a break for say 20 minutes or so, and then we come back and we look at Bernoulli distribution and Poisson distribution. Binomial distribution and Poisson distribution.
हाँ, क्योंकि मैं चला जाऊंगा तो बोर्ड रहना चाहिए.
Have you followed what we have done so far? Bernoulli? Yeah. So we know what Bernoulli is, right? Bernoulli is when we have x that is either success or failure. So x will take either 0 or 1 values. Probability that x is equal to 0 is referred to as 1 minus p, right? And probability that x is equal to 1 is referred to as p, right? Now, we are interested in a particular sequence, right? We saw that suppose you want to come for 3 classes out of 5, how to compute probability if those 3 classes are the last 3 classes. Okay, but actually 3 out of 5 could be any possible combinations, right? Say, now if you're interested in say 3 successes out of 5, let's take the same example. What are the multiple ways if we are having 5 classes? We are having 5 classes, or also think of 5 problem solving experiments, 5 sessions of problem solving experiments. Each of the tasks, so 5 tasks we have, and there's some chance that you would successfully solve the task and you will fail on the task, right? So the examples are identical. Either you will successfully solve a task, not successfully solve a task. Second task you will solve successfully, not solve successfully. Third task you will solve successfully, not solve successfully. So is the case with 4th and 5th, right? So for each of the tasks we are doing, this P1 minus P, P1 minus P times, right? So there's some probability that you would successfully solve the task. How many? What would be the sample space? What would be the sample space if I am doing this? What would be the sample space? How many events would exist in the sample space? How many events would exist in the sample space?
First pass all of the failed, then first pass, second pass all of the failed. So you can do this now.
So how do you do this? You write
Factorial on I see.
how many events would exist? You're forgetting what we have learned in simple rule of counting. If there are m outcomes for first experiment, for each of the m outcomes, there are n outcomes in the second experiment. For each of the n outcomes, p outcomes in the third experiment, there will be m, n, p up to whatever k outcomes would be there, right? So, how many outcomes are there for the first? No. 2. For the first task, there are 2 outcomes. For the first task, you have 2 outcomes. For the second task, there are 2 outcomes. For the third task, there are 2 outcomes. Fourth task, you have 2 outcomes. Fifth task, you have 2 outcomes. So 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. 13. 32 possible outcomes would exist in this sample space. So that is 2 raised to 5. So many outcomes would exist. Let's quickly define them in terms of success and failure so that we understand what we are doing. Right? Now, let's start with what you are saying. Fine. First, all successes. S. Okay. S.
FS, yeah. Then
Right? One failure has occurred at all the positions. Now, what do? There will be 2 failures. So, S, F. Then S, F. Okay. Right? S. Now, this was at the 3rd position. S, F. F. Right? So 2 failures. Well, first has changed all its positions. Now, what would be the next thing? S, S, F, F, S. Right? This combination has not occurred so far. One of the failure was fixed to the last position. Now we are fixing it to the second last position. So S, F, S, F, S. F, S, S, F, S. Now we bring it to the third last position. S, F, F, S, S. Then F, S, F, S, S. Right? Now we bring it to the fourth last position. So this is the place where we brought it to the third last position, which means that first two would be the failures. F, F, S, 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 and no more movements are possible for 2. So we are through with the 2 failures. 2 failures are done. Right now we need to work through the 3 failures. S, S, F, F, F. S, F, S, F, F. F, S, S, F, F. Okay, so first is moved, right? Now, second one. So, we are only shifting this one so far. So, now we shift everything this side. So, S, F, 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 S. F, S, F, F, S. Right? Right? Now, we shift. Where did we start? We brought it in the middle, right? All F's. Now, F, 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 S, S, right? Yes, and we are done with 3 failures, or any other combination left of the 3 failures? No, here we did not move this, right? So that combination is still there. Yeah, F, F, S, S, no, not S, S, F. S, F, S. Right? And then the one that we are talking about, F, 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 S, S. Right? So 3 failures are through. So 4 failures. S, F, 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 F. Right? Then F, S, F, F, F. Then F, F, S, F, F. Then F, 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 S, F. Then F, 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 S. And last is all failures. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 3 we have not specified. Somewhere we missed. 4 failures we did not code. We code only 3. No, 4 we coded.
Sir, even in 3 there's not. Everything's not.
Everything we coded in 3.
No. FF, SS, F is.
Which one?
FF, SS, F.
F, F,
SS, F.
F, F, S, S, F we did not do? Yeah. F, F, S, S, F and F, 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 S, S we did. S, F, F, S, S we did not do this. S, F. This we did not do? Okay, so which is one more that we did not do? So that it becomes 32. Just 10. Which one we did not do?
The ice cream. Alternate.
F S F S F. F S F S F. S F S F हो गया. F S F S F नहीं किया. नहीं. नहीं. That is the one that we did not do. Right. So we are now 32. All 32 we are through with. No, we are not through with the problem. This is a sample space. What are we looking for? We are looking for 3 successes. So our event E is defined as 3 successes. 3 successes is S, 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 F, F is one way of getting 3 successes. Then S, S, F, S, F is another way. Then S, F, S, S, F is third way. Then F, S, S, F is the fourth way. Then we shift S, S, F, S, sorry. F, S is one way of another way of doing it. Then S, F, S, F, S is the next one. Then F, S, S, F, S is the 7th way of doing it. Then S, F, F, S, S is the 8th way of doing it. And F, S, F, S is the 9th way of doing it. And F, F, S, S, S is the 10th way of doing it. Right? Right? So we are having total 10 possible ways in which this event occurs. Right? The total 10 possible ways in which this event occurs. So, what is the probability of getting, if everything is equally likely, that is successes and failures are equally likely in this example, then what is the probability that we will get 3 successes out of 5 can be answered by how many events, how many times we are getting E? We are getting it 10 times out of, so probability of X is equal to 3 is equal to number of times we are getting E? 10. Number of times E could have occurred? 32. So this is the probability of getting 3 successes out of 5 if the outcome success has the same probability as outcome failure, right? But more often than not, and so we get this number, whatever it is. If you calculate this, please calculate. More often than not, these probabilities are not identical. Okay. Say for example, when we were talking about basketball throw, this probability we assume to be 0.2, or when we are catching a train, perhaps the probability of getting in the train is 0.3 or something like this at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? So the probabilities are not 0.5 perfectly distributed. So how do we then work through this problem of probabilities not exactly being 0.5? We go back to our insights that we have obtained from binomial. If I have to find probability of one sequence, okay, say S, 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 F, F, what is the probability of getting this sequence? That's Bernoulli. That's Bernoulli, right? Finding the probability of just this sequence is Bernoulli. How? Say suppose P is equal to say 0.4, which means 1 minus P is equal to 1 minus 0.4 is equal to 0.6, right? Then what is the probability of observing S, 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 F, F We have already worked this out. We have already worked the probability out while discussing Bernoulli, and that is point p raised to x, which is 3 into 1 minus p raised to 5 minus 3, which is 2. Yeah. So p is 0.4 raised to 3 into 0.6 raised to 2. Can somebody do this on? Let me quickly solve it. Point 4 raised to 3. Okay, somebody has solved it for us. Thank you. And 0.6 raised to 2. 0.02304. Yeah. So this is 0.02304. Right? This is the probability 0.02304. Right? So this is the chance of occurrence of this event. Right? So what is the chance that E will occur? If the probability of success is 0.4, now we are not assuming the probability of success is 0.5, which we assumed and found out this chance, which is actually n by 32 is, sorry, n by 32 is 0.3125. Okay, which is 0.3125. Given it's 0.5. So if it is 0.5, then it is 3125, right? So like if we for your workout, you can do write 0.5 here, write 0.5 here, and solve this. It should result into 3125. Quickly do it if you want to check it. 0.5, so which is equal to 0.5 raised to 3 into 0.5 raised to 5 minus 2, that is 5 minus 3, that is 2, right? So this has to be equal to 0.3125. So probability of obtaining x is equal to 3 is 0.3125 if p is equal to 0.5. Now we are assuming this workout is useful if p is equal to 0.05. This workout is not useful if p is some other value, right? So the easy way is to take help of the Bernoulli trial function that we have used earlier. So it tells us p raised to 3, 1 minus p raised to n minus x. So p raised to x, 1 minus p raised to n minus x, right? So 4 raised to 3, 0.4 raised to 3 into 0.6 raised to 2 is equal to 0.02304, which is probability of this particular sequence. Now we know that since success is independent, all the outcomes are independent of each other. That's one critical assumption we made some time back. Same would be the probability of this outcome. So this outcome has a probability of 0.02304. This outcome will also have a probability of 0.0304, right? And so is the case with all the outcomes. So what do we need to do? We need to add up those probabilities, right? We need to add up those probabilities. So if we are adding a constant, for a certain number of times, might as well multiply it by that number. So if instead of adding 0.02304 plus 0.02304 10 times, I would simply multiply it by 10. So if I multiply 0.02304 by 10, I get 0.2304, right? So 0.2304 is the probability of finding, of getting 3 successes out of 5 when probability of individual success is 0.4. When probability of individual success is 0.4, probability of individual failure is 0.6, the chance that I would get 3 successes out of 5 is 2304. This is how I work out this chance. Now, the question is, do I need to do this every time? No. Some time back we have learned how to get this, and the easiest way of getting how many ways I would find R in n when R is smaller than or equal to n is expressed as NCX. So if I want 3 successes out of 5 trials, so how many ways I choose 3 out of 5, and that is 5C3, which is nothing but NCX or NCR. Okay. Now I write this as 5C3 is 5 factorial upon 3 factorial into 5 minus 3 factorial, which is equal to 5 factorial is 120, right? 3 factorial is 6, 2 factorial is 2, so this is 12, so 120 by 12 is equal to 10. There are 10 possible ways I can get 3 successes out of 5, right? So I get this 10 in the simple way than doing all this, right? So what am I now doing? This 10 is nothing but NCX. This 02304 is nothing but p raised to x, 1 minus p raised to n minus x. So what am I doing actually? I am multiplying p raised to x, 1 minus p raised to n minus x by NCX. So I express this entire calculation, which is providing me this, as if equal to NCX p raised to x 1 minus p raised to n minus x, right? 1 minus p into raised to n minus x. This is binomial distribution function, right? What we are doing basically in binomial, we are using Bernoulli. This is a Bernoulli trial. P raised to x, 1 minus p raised to n minus x is Bernoulli. We are multiplying this by NCX, right? We are multiplying this by NCX. Number of times we are running that trial, all possible combinations, and so we get to know the chance that we will get X amount of successes in n trials. We get X amount of successes in n trials. Have you understood this?
Yeah.
Pretty simple. Quite straightforward, right? This is how actually the sample space and events are related to each other while computing probabilities, right? Right. So that's the reason we worked it out fully. Well, now can you think of some simple examples that can come to your mind? So so that we solve this. Now, can I erase this? come back to this. Yeah, so probability that x is equal to NCx p raised to x 1 minus p raised to n minus x is binomial. So what I would do, I'll come to you. For my problem, I would write it as 5c3.4 raised to 3 1 minus 0.4 raised to 5 minus 3, which is equal to 5c3 is 10 into 4 raised to 3 is 4.4 raised to 3 is 0.6, 0.064 and 0.6 raised to 2, 0.36, which then is equal to 10 into 0.02304, which is equal to 0.2304, which means that now, see, sometime back when I was concerned about, say, you guys catching a train, I was interested in a particular sequence, okay? But suppose I change this problem to a problem that your attendance requirement in a week is 3 days a week out of 5. So you must attend 3 classes out of 5 classes. So which 3 doesn't matter. So what is the probability that if the chance that you catch a train is 0.4, you will attend 3 classes in a week, the probability is 0.2304. Okay? If you are interested in a particular sequence, then it is 02304. But most of the time we are not interested in a particular sequence, but we are interested in number of times that event occurs vis-a-vis number of times it could have occurred. Yes, you had a problem.
Also, you answered it while explaining.
That's great. So we're through with binomial. Understood what binomial is? Well, so suppose I take the example of this class. Okay, we only reduce the numbers. I know that roughly 7 point. The probability of success in this paper is around, say, 0.7. Okay, this is an overestimation, but I am fine with overestimations. I don't want to discourage you beyond this, right? So, after your exam, I randomly happened to meet, say, 10 people.